Hello, my friends. Those of you in my private Facebook group and Uplifted community requested yoga for your knees. Now, very important to understand that your knees are a joint, right? So all we can do is really strengthen and stabilize the muscles that surround our knees. And that's what we're gonna focus on in this class. In addition to doing poses that help stabilize the knee, I'm gonna walk you through some of the common pitfall poses for the knees where you might be inadvertently twerking or hurting the knee without realizing it. Let's get started. To begin, come on down to downward facing dog right away. We'll just warm up the backs of the legs. So just pedal through the feet a couple times. Just begin to drop into your breath. Maybe take a couple huge inhales and exhale, sighs out the mouth. Once more, big in. Exhale, sigh out the mouth. Good. Gently walk your feet to the top of the mat. You can keep the feet hip width apart. We'll take a gentle half lift. So hands can come onto the shins, glide the shoulders down and back, and exhale, fold. Good. Deep breath in. Drawing the shoulders down and back, and exhale, melt forward. Last one, just connecting breath and movement. Inhale, get long. Exhale, fold. Good, and then breathe in, circle the arms down, around, and up, reach up. And then exhale, fuse the hands through prayer till they rest at heart center. Good. So right away, I want you to take your feet so the toes are touching and the heels are apart. And you're gonna bend the knees very deeply, so touch the fingertips towards the floor and come into chair pose. So right away, notice if your weight is too far forward, you really wanna have the weight in the heels. Spread the toes if you can and set them back down. Sink the hips a little lower. So right away, you should feel the quads engage, everything's firing up. Core engages, draw the navel up and in. This is such a good pose to find stability in all the muscles that are surrounding the knee joint. 2 more breaths. Good, last breath. Nice, inhale, rise to stand, breathe in. Exhale, just fold over your legs. Breathe in, half lift. Exhale, step your left foot behind you so the arch of your back foot lines up with your front heel. And we're gonna come into warrior 2. So you're gonna cartwheel the arms down, around, and up. Deep bend in the front knee. So really gaze at your knee and look and see. It should just be blocking your second toe, but you should see your big toe. Breathe in. Breathe out. Now we're really just focusing on the alignment of the knee above everything else. As you breathe in, I just want you to flip your palms up. Keep looking at your knee and straighten the front leg. As you breathe out, make sure that knee is tracking directly over the second toe as you rebend. Good, we'll do that 2 more times. So you inhale, reach. Kind of challenge yourself to move slowly. Again, we're building up stability in all those little muscles that surround the knee joint and really focusing that the knee isn't kind of falling in or falling out. So if you look really closely at my knee right now, a lot of times you're kind of here, right, or you're too far back. We're just focusing on that tracking. Let's do 1 more. Good, and then we'll take this into side angle pose. So you can take your front hand and rest the elbow on the thigh. You can take the hand to the floor or to a block. Good, and then just spin the chest towards the ceiling. You can reach the left arm alongside the ear or straight up. But take a moment to gaze down at that knee again and maybe feel the knee pressing into the elbow wherever you are and the elbow pressing into the knee and really making sure the knee is tracking over second toe. Last big breath. Good. And then coming back to warrior two, straightening the legs. Nice, take the hands to the hips, and you're just gonna step back up, and we're gonna take chair pose second variation. So if you don't have a block, just do exactly what we did before. If you have a block, this time place the block in between, high in between the upper inner thighs with the feet hip width apart. Again, if you don't have a block, no big deal, just do what we did the first time. Once again, we'll have fingertips touch the ground and then sink into our chair. So squeeze the block like crazy now. And this is really, again, firing up quads, calves, move the weight into the heels. Draw your low abs up and in. Think of knitting the rib cage closed. We're here for 4 more breaths, really heating. 2 more breaths. Last breath. Good. Slowly come to stand. Exhale, hands through prayer. Remove the block. And second side for our warrior two. So this time step the right foot back. Make sure the front heel bisects the back arch. Getting nice and low for a moment and then really focusing on the knee. So look, knee is obscuring the second toe, but you can see your big toe. Knee is directly over the ankle. Big breath in. Deep breath out. Good, and then flip the palms. Really looking at the knee the whole time to make sure it's tracking. Inhale, straighten. And exhale, rebend. Inhale to straighten. And exhale, rebend. 2 more. Go really slow. Keep the focus on the knee and it's tracking. The slower you go, the harder it is. The more stability you're finding for those knees. Good, last breath. Nice. And this time, sinking into our side angle, so elbow to the knee, or to the floor, or to a brick. A couple deep breaths. You may need to heel toe the back foot in too to really find the knee at a 90-degree angle. It's another place where we can sometimes accidentally hurt our knees because the stance you need for side angle isn't necessarily the same stance you need for warrior two. We need to make those micro adjustments. Good. 1 more big breath here. Press the elbow into the knee and the knee into the elbow if you're kind of playing that variation. And last breath. Good. And then gently come on up to warrior two. Straighten the leg, bring the hands to the hips, and stepping back up for more chair pose. You guessed it. So setting the block aside, I know chair is not fun, but it's so good for the knees. Spread the toes, heels apart, sink low, fingertips graze the floor, back into your chair. Okay, so we're gonna do a little bit of experimentation here. So I want you to really take the weight into the heels, which is good. Find your deepest chair pose, that's good. Feel the thighs engage, inner thighs squeeze together. Your tailbone like a hook is curling forward. But now I want you to just come out of the chair pose just a touch. So your seat isn't as low as you'd normally take it. Come out just a little bit. But keep squeezing the inner seam of both thighs together. And just notice how maybe it feels a little different. We're just finding all these like little micro muscles that surround the joint of the knee. Okay, and then sink the seat back down. Good. And then slowly bring it up. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Good, and then slowly sink down. And slowly bring it up. And if it's too much to do it with the arms, you can just take the arms out of it and just have the arms stacked. We're gonna play with this just a couple more rounds. You can do it. This is so good. We gotta protect those knees. Last breath. Good. And then come up to stand wherever you are. Breathe in. And exhale, hands to prayer. Okay, stepping back, hands on hips. Bring the feet hip width apart. Now this is really important that we bring the feet hip width apart first. And you're gonna step the left foot back into your high lunge. Awesome. So do that again, and you'll notice if you take the feet to touch and step back into your high lunge, you notice how you're all wobbly, like you don't have as much stability. So whether you're coming from down dog or stepping back, in your lunge, you want to have a wide stance, left to right on the mat. You don't want to be on a little tightrope. You want to have a wide stance. Because if you're on a tightrope, it's going to be hard for the knee. So finding your stance in high lunge, you can keep the hands on the hips, big breath in, and then press through the back left heel. Good. And just find your breath here. You can just keep the hands on the hips so we can really focus on the knees. And then we'll do 3 bends of the back leg and slowly straighten. So you're going to slowly bend the back leg and slowly straighten. Slowly bend and slowly straighten. Last one, slowly bend and slowly straighten. Good, and then just pop back up to stand. Inhale, circle the arms down, around, and up. Exhale, hands drop to the floor, coming into your chair pose. All right, this time we'll take a balance. So squeeze the inner thighs together. You can always take the arms out of the chair pose if it's too intense. I just want you to play with lifting the heels. So if you're new, you can just like baby micro lift the heels like I'm doing. They're barely leaving the ground. Or if you've been doing yoga for a while, maybe encourage yourself to bring the heels all the way up. A little more challenging, and just feel all those little stabilizer muscles around the knee working. Inner part of the thigh, outer part of the thigh, calves, Achilles. Last breath. Okay, good. Drop it, breathe in, reach up. Exhale, hands to prayer. Good. We're going to take the feet hip width apart. Step the right foot back to your lunge. So your lunge is on train tracks, not a tightrope, yeah? The hands on the hips. Look at the front knee. Make sure that you can see the big toe, but not the second toe. And then little bend of the back knee. And straighten. Little bend. And straighten. And slowly bend. And straighten. Good, and then gently press yourself, step, whoop, to the top of the mat. Inhale, arms up. Exhale through prayer. Okay, let's take a down dog to stretch it out. Breathe in, reach up. Exhale, fold. Your choice, you can either flow through plank, chaturanga. If you've been doing yoga a long time, if you're new to yoga just like me, just step back to a down dog and just pedal through the legs. We'll walk the hands to the back of the mat for a moment, little break. Stretch the backs of the legs. You can hold opposite elbows and just sway. And even here, think about where you're pressing down and making contact with the earth, with the feet. So press down through the inner heel, outer heel, big toe mound, little toe mound, and then energetically hug up through the arches of your feet. Good. Walk the hands back out. Drop into all fours. You're going to take the right foot forward. It's okay if you need to carry it forward. Curl the left toes under. Make sure, again, you're on train tracks, not a tightrope. And you're going to press back up to that high lunge that we just did. Good. And then maybe heel toe the right foot even a little wider. And then see as you bring your hands to your hips if you can come in to warrior one. So what happens is that back foot comes from being with the heel up and pressed out to being at a 45-degree line, okay? And then I want you to look back at that leg and see if your knee and your ankle are in alignment. So a lot of times yoga teachers will cue like square your hips to the front of the room, right? And people will torque that back hip towards the front of the room. And if you don't have that range of motion in your hips, it's torquing your knee. So if that's what's happening, I just want you to stay in high lunge, right? That's why we're teaching high lunge coming into warrior one. So just notice, right? Make sure the knee and ankle are in one line and feel okay. If that's true, you can play with warrior one. Otherwise, just stay in high lunge. We're just taking 5 breaths here. So a lot of times when students complain of knee pain, we want to make sure that in a lot of these poses, you're not inadvertently torquing or twisting the knee, depending on, maybe what a well-intentioned teacher is telling you. Like, we do want to square the hips in warrior one, but not at the expense of hurting the knee. Last breath. Good. Exhale, hands frame the foot.
Just take it back down to all fours. You can just loosen up the spine, ripple through an up cat. Exhale, down cat round.
Good. Inhale, up cat.
Exhale, down cat round. Good. Take the left foot forward. Coming into our high lunge. Maybe heel toeing the left foot to the left, making sure we're nice and wide. Train tracks, not tightrope. Coming into the high lunge. Big breath here. And this is a great place to work. You can take the hands to the hips. Only if you're moving on, play with warrior one. So plant the back heel and bend deeply into the front knee. And then take a look behind you and see what's going on with the knee. Really look down. Go take a look. Does it look like the kneecap is pointing too much in or too much out? Is it really in line with the ankle? So it should sort of be lining up with the sort of center seam of your ankle. And if it's okay, stay in warrior one. And if not, just pop that back heel back up into high lunge, no big deal. 5 breaths. Draw the abs in. You're really pulling up through the legs. So see if you can muscularly feel the muscles of the legs hugging into the bone. Breath is nice and full. Good, final breath. Exhale, hands to the floor. Step it back to a down dog or all fours. If you need to go to all fours, no problem. We're all gonna meet in standing. So however you wanna get there, I'm just gonna walk my hands and feet towards one another, bend the knees deeply, and do a slow spinal roll up. So head is heavy. I'll round through my low back, mid back, upper back to stand. Last chair pose. And then we're down on the floor for a quick finish. I want you to come and have the block. Again, if you don't have the block, you'll do this with your toes touching. If you do have the block, you'll do it with your feet hip width apart. You're gonna come to lean against a wall. So you might need to walk away from the camera, away from the screen for you guys for a little bit. And you wanna just line up all 90-degree angles. So your back is pressing into the wall, and then really lower the hips. This is not a walk in the park. Hips line up with knees and knees directly over ankles. So you may need to like squat and move your feet around a little bit to find this position. This is super great for strengthening the knees because we're strengthening all the muscles of the legs. Squeeze the block and you can lean against the wall. And we're just gonna hang out here for a little bit. So everything in the lower body is crazy engaged, but see if you can keep a smile on the face and the jaw and face relaxed. Keep squeezing into the block with all you got. Press all 10 toes into the floor. Keep finding that muscular energy in the legs. We're here for 4 more breaths. You can do it. Last 2. Whew, last one. Okay. And then press yourself out of it. And that's just a good one to do anytime you have a little extra time to bring your mat to the wall, or if you have a blanket or just some cushions on your couch, you can put a cushion in front of you. So you're gonna kneel on the blanket or the cushion, and you're going to take one leg up the wall and one leg forward. So you wanna make sure your cushion is closer to the wall if you're pretty flexible, or maybe you've been doing yoga for a while. And maybe the cushion's a little farther away from the wall, or your knee is farther away from the wall. So we'll start by taking the right sole of foot to the wall and the left knee forward. So it should look something like this. Big quad stretch, right? And if you have blocks at home, I like to use them to just sort of have an additional point of stability, because you don't want to just collapse into the stretch. You want to be really feeling a deep stretch in the front seam of this thigh. So we're going to melt the pelvis forward while continuing to squeeze the inner thighs towards one another. And take a couple deep breaths. So we're looking for a deep quad stretch on the front of the right thigh. So often tight quads or tight
Achilles issues can cause problems in the knee. So in this stretch, we're really opening up the quad in a profound way. And if you don't have a wall for whatever reason, you could always do the version of this stretch where you hold the foot, right? And kind of get the same effect. The wall's really nice though. Let your hips sink down even lower. And if you want to intensify the stretch, you just back it up, right? You just slide further, closer to the wall, and you sort of upright your body. Now, this is a totally beginner class, but I know some of my advanced friends might be joining us. So I want to give some options for you advanced folks if you want to take this stretch even deeper. What you're going to do, if you look carefully at my back foot on the wall, is you're going to curl your toes under. So the toes are pressing into the wall instead of the top of your foot. That's going to intensify things. And then my advanced students, squeeze the inner thighs together, and if you really wanted, you could play with laying back into like a back bend here and taking your hands to the wall as well. And that's going to be a really deep quad stretch. So all of those are just invitations, optional. I'm hoping you'll play with this video over and over again, so you could always come back to those. Last breath. Good, and then we'll switch it out. So to switch it out, it's like a little funny. You can see how you want to do it. You can take everything down and like rest for a minute, or you can come straight in to left knee on the blanket and right foot in front of you. And remember, it's always going to be less intense if the left knee is farther away from the wall, so that might be a good place to start. It's going to be more intense if that left knee is closer to the wall. And if you have hardwood floors like me and you can be on a blanket, it's kind of nice because you can just slide yourself around to find the perfect position. But just make it work for you. Nice deep breathing. So every inhale, send the breath into the area of the front thigh, the quad. And every exhale, just melt. So it may be common also to just get like a Charlie horse in the foot when you're playing with these kind of shapes. Doesn't mean anything, it's just, you know, stuff moving in the body. It's all good. If you did it on the other side, maybe adjust, go closer, or curl those back toes under so your toes instead of the top of the foot is pressing into the wall. It's definitely going to intensify things. And make sure you're hugging the inner thighs into the midline of the body, right? So you're not splayed out, you're controlled, abs are pulling in here, inner thighs are hugging, narrowing towards one another. If you did it on the other side, playing with a back bend, taking the hands to the wall, fingertips face down, go for it. Again, this is in no way required. Especially in this variation, you want the knee padded here, guys, you know, so really couch cushions, pillows. You don't want to be doing this like just on your mat. All right, and coming out of it, we'll come to lie down for our final pose, which is going to be a bridge pose. So however you want to get there, soles of the feet to the floor, reach the arms out long, take a block with you if you've been using the blocks with me, roll down, take the block between the thighs, squeeze the block, and then make sure your fingertips are grazing your heels. And then from here, we'll press up into our bridge. So squeeze the thighs together here. And then, again, if you're newer, you can stay right here. If you've been doing yoga for a while, come into a really deep bridge. How that works is you'll kind of start shimmying the shoulder blades underneath one another. And maybe you'll be able to clasp the hands, interlacing the fingers, and sort of pressing your biceps into the mat to lift the hips higher with the hands interlaced. And then really fire up the inner thighs. Squeeze the inner thighs together on the block. 3 more breaths. Listen carefully, don't just come down. I want you to come up onto your tippy toes. You're gonna lift the heels and vertebra by vertebra with control, keep squeezing the block. Come on down. Good. From here, set the block aside and you can extend into a well-deserved rest, a little shavasana. Or you could rock and roll back up to a comfortable seat. However you want to close your practice. And just take a deep breath in. Exhale, rest into your mat or seated with me, hips ground into the floor. Deep breath in. And exhale all the way. I hope throughout the rest of your day, your knees feel stronger. Come back to this sequence. This is a great one to do 2 or 3 times a week. If you're experiencing knee pain, leave me a comment down below and let me know how this went for you. Much, much love from my heart to yours. Namaste.